So following up what I was saying before I got the phone call. Sorry guys, it's kind of loud. This is all practice, baby. This is all just like working it out, what doesn't work, what does. I'm noticing that I'm not completing my points as best I could. So that's gonna be part of my intention going forward with these videos, is to really finish the thought, finish the point, make it cohesive, where it has continuity, because I like to bounce around a lot. One thought leads into another, leads into another, leads into another, you know. Maybe some of you can relate. These backdoor ways of not committing, you know, oh, I'll just give myself space. Oh, there's, you know, like, I've fallen into those traps too, where it's just like, but really, you know, you cannot lie. The truth of your being cannot lie. And to the degree that we're willing to be honest with ourselves, and to the degree that I'm willing to like say, okay, you know, a good friend of mine recently, we just, and I'll finish this point. A good friend of mine recently, we just had a conversation where he said, if people can get this one distinction, it would make a huge, huge difference. We would see all kinds of things being different. And the distinction is, imagine that there's an object sitting on a table. Say this object is a tennis ball. And if you asked someone if there was a tennis ball sitting on the table, they would say, well, yeah, it's right there. And then if you said, okay, great. And if you removed the tennis ball and you asked them again, is the tennis ball sitting on the table? And you would say, they would say no. You'd say, great. And then you put it back on the table and you'd say, is the tennis ball on the table? And they would say yes. You'd say, okay, great. So if you can see when it's clearly there and when it's clearly not there, if you could apply that to areas of your life where it's like, is satisfaction there? Is it obviously there? But instead what we do is we go look for it. Well, maybe it's on the table. Maybe if I, you know, like we start to look at it that way. But it's clearly not there, or it clearly is. And so for me, it's like, when it comes to fulfillment, I keep looking at my face and I keep seeing that my eyebrows are squenched, but I'm not doing that intentionally, and it keeps throwing me off. It's really, really interesting watching myself talk. But that kind of honesty takes time to develop. It is literally a skill to be able to interface with reality like that, where we just are with what is and we are with what isn't. You know, from more of a neutral standpoint, that kind of honesty is like what I'm getting at here. And the honesty is that those substances, it wouldn't even be in the inquiry. if satisfaction was present, it wouldn't even be a thing. I wouldn't be looking at it and going, maybe I shouldn't put these substances down. It's obviously, very, very obviously not satisfying. And so it's like, well, why continue to do something if what I'm committed to is being fulfilled? Why continue to do something that is not supporting and in a lot of ways is directly opposing that satisfaction? 75% of the time. Like when it starts to get to where it has me, and that's what's running the show, as these sensations, these cravings, these pulls for something, what am I getting away from? A lot of what I'm getting away from is doing these videos. This is something that's fulfilling to me. And it's scary as shit. It's so scary. And instead of engaging it, it's easier sometimes to be like, nope, I'm just gonna indulge. I'm gonna piss down my own back and call it rain, Like, have you ever heard that saying? I saw that from myself recently, where it was like, oh wow, I'm saying that I'm fulfilled. In a lot of ways I am. But in other ways, I'm not. And those other ways are important because those other ways really mean something to me. And so it's almost like this self-sabotaging. I think that word's getting thrown around a lot lately. But, there's validity to it. If fear is what is running my life, it's like this operating system, it's like fear is so fucking strong. It's a profound force. And largely, our species wouldn't have survived if we didn't have this mechanism. But the thing about it is that it's so old, it's so outdated, and there are so many new operating systems that are built onto the body, the brain, biologically, that can actually basically, we have higher capacities of functioning that not just override the old systems, but they integrate them, where that fear is valid. It's a valid fear. It's a valid fear to be afraid, to share myself openly. Why? Because sometimes people see that as a weakness. They see that vulnerability as an opening to project their own hurt and pain and insecurities and all kinds of other shit that we project onto people, that we judge about ourselves, or we have judgments about, whatever. There's some sort of belief that is culturally conditioned into people to think that, their way of living is more right. But regardless of that, it's like people can have that. People can say whatever the fuck they want to say about me. But the difference is that ultimately what I want is the freedom to be myself completely and to enjoy myself while I'm here and to enjoy other people and to do the things that mean something to me, you know, that really have a heart-centered, you know, core, like I have my core values in place, and that I'm living that, and that I'm enjoying it, and that I'm working my ass off for it, and that I love that, and that it's like, you know, because I think that people really want to give themselves. People want to do things. We want to do things. We want to do things for other people. We want to, you know, like, you know how fucking good it feels to give someone a gift and then be like, man, fuck, thank you for that. Like, how good it feels to feel like you've contributed something to someone else, like something meaningful, something valuable. I think we all want to give that, but we all want to give that in our own ways, and whatever way is valid for you is fucking valid for you, and I think that's awesome. Go for it. You know, and that's what I'm giving myself permission to do, is like, I think I have something to say. I know that I have something to say, and I want to share it because my experiences are valuable. I'm, quite frankly, like, people aren't functioning with with the same kind of satisfaction that I have in my life. And in order for me to do that, in order for me to grow that more, it's like I have to share that with other people. That's the piece that's missing, is that I want to be impacting people's lives with my experiences. I want you guys to get something for yourself. I want you to like I want people to be freed up. I want people to be fulfilled. Not by my version of what that looks like, but it's like, it's kind of like, what moves you? You know, what do you want to create for yourself? What kind of life do you want to live? Because I'm effectively doing that in a lot of ways, and I'm truing up and I'm being honest with myself in the ways that I'm not. It's like, that is my drive, that is my direction, that is my path. And it's my path because, one, I feel like there's value, hugely valuable. One, I feel like people need it. People are starving for a lot of things. People are starving for community. People are starving for intimacy. People are starving for connection. People are starving for a sense of belonging. People are starving for their own fucking authenticity. Why? It's like, if you look around, the number one, like the most predominant emotion that is present in people is fear. People are fucking scared shitless. Like, look at people standing next to each other in, you know, whatever, a restaurant, a line. You notice how no one talks to each other? You know, occasionally there will be like some pop-up conversations here, but you know that feeling that you get when somebody looks over at you and goes, hey, nice dress. I really like your shoes today. Or, you know, like, and sometimes you just don't even have time to have a conversation like that. Or that you're like, I hope they, or, you know, maybe this is more protection. I don't know. I would assume that a lot of people experience this. It seems that way to me. When I look out at people and I'm like, man, people are scared shitless of each other and pretending like they're not. And while that's a valid world, you know, people can live their lives that way if they want to. Who am I to say they shouldn't? But I just think that where people feel like connected to their own sense of self, connected to a sense of like they belong here, like they matter, like that they have something to share with the world, like that, you know, that like you're here to be the youest you can be, you know, and that you're meant to like thrive and be in abundance like everything else in nature, you know, and that we've created these fucking scarcity models. We've created this shit. People. We've created our own heaven and our own hell. And I see a lot of people living in hell. Like, people are just like, hate their lives, like stuck, and don't know how to get unstuck, don't know anything, you know. But for me, it's like, I fucking unstuck myself. And I'm doing it a lot. I'm doing it now. You know, like, I'm unsticking myself. And I know something about the process. You know, and that's what I want to share. I want to be the supporter of people being unstuck. You know, stagnation is like death. Literally. Like, anything that stagnates dies. Growth is a prerequisite to life. No growth, no life. So it's, how do you grow consciously? We have that capacity. Hugely underused. And so I want to use it. And I am. So June, and I'll keep updated. I'll keep being honest with you guys. I'll keep being honest with myself. June, no alcohol, no tobacco, no coffee. Taking a break from substances. Maybe this liver not functioning well line will start to recede from my face. Maybe the bags under my eyes, you know. Maybe the random, like, teenage years, haven't had a pimple in forever, you know, but shit shows up on my face because, you know, your number one organ for detoxing is your skin. Let's see.